2025 Wabi-Sabi inspired small garden with warm wood accents. In 2025, backyard design evolves, not toward extravagance, but toward a quiet, intentional simplicity. We are moving away from ornamental perfection and towards something older, wiser, more human. At the center of this shift rests an ancient Japanese philosophy, Wabi-Sabi. It is the art of seeing beauty in imperfection, in the fleeting moment, in the honest touch of nature. When I design a backyard with Wabi-Sabi in mind, I am not thinking of perfect lines or gleaming surfaces. I am thinking of the way weathered wood feels warm beneath your hand, the way moss claims a stone, slowly, silently, the way autumn leaves scatter themselves across a garden floor without permission, without apology. In this modern expression, Wabi-Sabi is not decoration. It is relationship. It is the connection between the human and the living landscape. A small garden becomes not an ornament, but a companion. It grows, changes, rests, and blooms in its own rhythm. The plant palette is deliberate, yet free. I choose species that thrive quietly without demanding constant intervention. Soft ferns, ornamental grasses that sway with the wind, flowering shrubs that appear almost by surprise. These plants do not compete, they belong. Ceramic and clay vessels hold potted plants, each with its own irregular glaze, its own story told in chips and cracks, placed where the light can touch them differently, in morning gold. In afternoon shadow, they become living sculptures. Seasonal change is not hidden here, it is celebrated. In summer, the air hums with green. In autumn, the ground becomes a canvas of ochre and rust. In winter, bare branches rise like ink strokes against the pale sky. And then there is the wood. Weathered wood is the soul of a Wabi-Sabi backyard. Not polished, not lacquered, but worn, softened by years of sun and rain. Every knot, every split is a signature, a reminder. That time leaves beauty in its wake. I might place a bench carved from a tree trunk, a pergola where vines tangle freely, a fence of rough-cut planks greying into silver, dissolving into the landscape. These are not just structures, they are quiet storytellers. Paths here do not rush you, they wander, stone by stone, gravel crunching underfoot, perhaps an irregular flagstone edged with moss. The path bends, pauses, offers you a bench or a weathered stone basin, inviting you to linger. Balance is found not in symmetry but in belonging. Every element is placed with intention, yet never feels staged. It is as if the garden has grown itself around you. Sustainability naturally joins the Wabi-Sabi spirit. Reclaimed wood, recycled stone, plants that sip water rather than thirst for it, rainwater caught and stored for drier days. Furniture shaped from salvaged bamboo, draped with linen cushions that soften, fade, and become more beautiful as the years pass. Lighting is never harsh here. A lantern glows softly in the corner, candles flicker, shadows shift with the wind, the night garden breathes. A modern backyard in the year 2025 with Wabi-Sabi in its heart is not an escape from the world, but a return to it. It welcomes imperfection, it honours time, and in doing so, welcomes you home. The Wabi-Sabi backyard begins to reveal its layers. This is not a place you take in with a single glance. It is a place you discover slowly as you walk or listen. I begin with space, not the space we measure with tape and plans, but the space that breathes, the air between elements, the stillness that allows the eye and the mind to rest. In Wabi-Sabi, emptiness is not absence, it is invitation. A clearing in the garden might be nothing more than gravel beneath a tree, but in that quiet opening, you find possibility. A place to sit in the morning light or stand in the cool shade of evening, hearing only the whisper of leaves. The textures must speak to one another: stone, wood, clay, metal. Not polished metal, but bronze that has tarnished, iron that carries the orange blush of rust. Each material in conversation with time, each surface willing to change. Furniture is not imposed on the garden. It belongs to it. A low wooden stool feels as if it has always been there, waiting. A simple table, weathered and pale, set in a corner where light falls gently in the late afternoon. The garden chooses where you will rest. Water is another quiet voice here. It might be the trickle of a small stone basin fed by rainwater gathered from the roof. Or Or it could be still, a reflective pool, mirroring sky and branches, reminding you of the beauty in stillness itself. Plants grow in conversation with the land. I do not force symmetry, I guide growth, the way a hand guides a brushstroke. Some areas are dense, a thicket of green, others open to let light spill through. This shifting rhythm gives the garden its breath. Paths may lead to destinations or nowhere at all. Sometimes they end at a single stone, a sculpture, a tree that seems to have been here longer than memory. The journey is as important as the arrival, even in the choice of colours. Restraint reigns. There are no shouts of neon, no competition for attention. Instead, deep greens, soft browns, greys that carry the memory of rain. Occasionally, a bloom of muted red or dusty pink, as if nature herself decided to place it there. Walls, fences, boundaries are softened. Vines climb freely, moss takes root in shaded corners. The edges between the garden and the world beyond blur. You no longer know where one ends and the other begins. I think often about how this space will age. In 5 years, the wood will be greyer, the stone more worn, the plants more rooted. This is not decay, it is deepening character. A Wabi-Sabi garden grows more itself with each passing season. At night, the design changes. The moonlight takes over, casting silver lines along the edges of stone. Lanterns glow like fireflies, small pockets of light surrounded by shadow. Here, darkness is not something to chase away, it is something to hold and to honour. In this second layer of Wabi-Sabi design, the garden becomes less about what you see and more about what you feel. It is the space between the footsteps, the pause before you breathe in. It is architecture, not only of form, but of time and of silence. In the final shaping of the Wabi-Sabi backyard, the design turns inward toward the life that will unfold here, toward the stories the space will quietly collect. A garden, in this philosophy, is never truly finished. It is a collaboration between the human hand and the slow, patient hand of nature. What I create is not a frozen picture, but a framework, a living canvas for wind, rain, light, and seasons to paint upon. Here, the smallest detail matters. The way a stone tilts slightly into the earth, the way a wooden post leans just enough to catch the afternoon shadow. Nothing is accidental, and yet nothing is over-controlled. The garden must breathe freely. I think about how this space will be experienced, not in a single visit, but in the rhythm of daily life. Morning tea taken on a bench while dew still clings to leaves. A slow walk, barefoot along the gravel path, feeling the cool stones underfoot. Evening light, filtering through branches as a lantern begins to glow nearby. The Wabi-Sabi backyard also welcomes weather. Rain does not spoil it, it deepens it. Drops collect on leaves, stones darken, air thickens with the scent of wet earth. Wind stirs tall grasses, sending ripples through the landscape as if the garden itself were breathing. Objects in the space are chosen not for trend but for their story. A ceramic pot with a faint crack along its side, a wooden ladder, too weathered to climb, now a frame for climbing jasmine, a stone lantern whose edges have been softened by decades. These are not just things, they are companions in the journey of time. The garden also has its quiet rituals, sweeping fallen leaves from the path, not to erase the season but to guide it. Refilling the water basin, watching the first ripples spread outward, trimming a branch so that more light can reach a shaded corner. These acts keep you present and root you in the moment. Even the soundscape is part of the design. Gravel crunching underfoot, the murmur of water, the rustle of leaves, and perhaps the soft creak of wood cooling or the distant call of an owl. These are the unplanned notes that complete the symphony. And when guests arrive, they do not enter into spectacle, but into stillness. They slow their pace, lower their voice, as if the garden itself has asked for quiet. Conversations here are softer, laughter warmer, time a little slower. In the end, a modern backyard in Wabi-Sabi style is not a design you simply look at. It is one you live inside, one that changes you as much as you change it. It reminds you that beauty is not in flawless surfaces, but in the gentle marks left by life itself. And when you step away, you carry that truth with you into the rest of the world. You begin to see that every weathered door, every uneven wall, every shifting shadow is its own kind of masterpiece. That is the quiet gift of Wabi-Sabi.